Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Soft line drive, center field, and it falls for a hit. Robles scores. Right behind him is Emerson, and he is in there. Wow!
Who would have possibly thought that the return of Cal Raleigh would be bad news for the Baltimore Orioles? I'm so shocked. It's courtesy of Mariners TV. Good morning. It is a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin.
Should they have brought Rico in there?
I mean, the argument is like now that Helsley's back, Rico's the guy that you're supposed to be using in the most high leverage spot. And that was certainly the most high leverage spot. I don't know, man. I don't know. They had 3 hits. Like, what do you want me to do? They had 3 hits.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't have a hit out of the infield after the first inning.
Well, I would like them to be still playing right now, and it's still 1-1. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what you would have gone for. The way they were playing last night, I don't think they would have gotten another run. I don't think it was happening. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It feels crushing. It feels like this is the reality. Like the thing that Stan wrote this week at Press Box, that this is just who they are. It just feels like that might be the case, that this just is who they are. And my bigger concern about the Orioles obviously has continued to be the starting pitching, but, you know, Brandon Young certainly pitched plenty well last night. Not nearly as well as Logan Gilbert, but, you know, what the hell are we talking about here? Go get him, Brandon. Go beat Logan. You're the ace now. Go get all the top guys. Go beat Logan Gilbert. Be nice if the Orioles had Logan Gilbert, huh? That would be fun.
No, that would be cool. What, you think he's available?
No.
No?
No, we had talked. Remember a couple years ago when the Mariners were so desperate for bats?
Yeah.
That we were like, I don't know, maybe you could throw Ryan Mountcastle at him and pry one of these guys away.
Lord. Maybe they still can.
I don't think so.
Well, they might need a bat. They only scored 3 runs last night.
I don't think so. You're right. That is true. They only scored 3. Coming up in just a couple of moments, Chris Rose. You know this, man. You've seen him on your television for an eternity. I don't even know where to introduce Chris Rose from anymore because the truth is he's from everywhere. So I'm just going to go with Chris Rose from BattleBots. That's what I'm just going to stick with is Chris Rose from BattleBots, from Jomboy, long time at MLB Network, also NFL Network. We're going to talk to him. He hosts Baseball Today with Trevor Plouffe. They were talking about what happened this past weekend between the Orioles and the Padres, but I just want to get his thoughts on where the Orioles are in general, the ongoing conversations that we continue to have about the hypothetical Adley Rutschman possibilities. We'll talk about all of that with Chris Rose here in just a couple of minutes. Later on in the program, we'll talk World Cup. Kyle Beckerman, the pride of Crofton, will join us. Yes, I know John in Little Rock's fired up after Messi had a hat trick last night. Was watching everybody else go off, watching Holland.
I was happy too, yeah. My Messi.
You're Messi.
Yes.
You're Messi.
Personally. Me and the Argentines, yeah.
You and the Argentines. Holland had a couple of goals, some great high ball pressure yesterday. So we'll talk about the World Cup. We'll talk about the U.S. with Kyle Beckerman. We'll make a trip to Frederick, chat with one of the Orioles' top pitching prospects, JT Quinn. That's all on the way today. Don't have much else to break down from the game last night. Offense was terrible. Brandon Young was fine. They went to Grant Wolfram.
Mistake.
Probably, but really, like, the mistake obviously is the walk. The walk is the Crawford is just dreadful there. And you can say, hey, even if he gets him out, there's still only 2 outs and a single to Cal Raleigh.
Kitchen showed you what to do about that. And you just get a ground ball.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating evening. They had 3 hits. I mean, I don't know what to say. The thing that Zach Moore brought up earlier in the week, where they are constantly chasing pitches that are on the outside edge of the plate, it is clear that is in the scouting report. And I can't believe when at one point Gilbert got his 8th strikeout, and I was like, how is it only 8? It feels like it's been everyone. And I don't remember what he finished with.
10.
10?
Yeah.
How is it only 10? It felt like it was every batter. Oh, it was just atrocious. Let's talk some Orioles. Let's talk some baseball in general. As I mentioned, you know this man from Jomboy and Baseball Today with Trevor Plouffe. You also know him from, like, literally every channel that has been on your cable package in his life. He is a friend of ours, phenomenal broadcaster. Mr. Chris Rose, back with us now here on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Wow, I sound like I need to do some cheering up, guys.
Dude,
are we all right?
The Orioles had 3 hits, and the only one after the first inning was an infield hit in the 9th. I mean, it was just it's one thing to watch a baseball game and the team struggles. It's another thing to be up at 11 o'clock. Although, give them credit, it was over quickly. They didn't keep us up that late. It was just
No, it wasn't that bad. I always forget about that for you guys on the East Coast, what it's like. You know, for me, it's like last night there was only one game after like 9:30.
Right.
It was still on my screen. I'm watching A's Pirates. I'm like, God Almighty, I'm a sicko.
Oh God,
guys, your team is
not
offensively
good.
one of the great. Yeah, it's just one of the great mysteries in the sport because you look at the lineup, you're like, yeah, it feels like at worst it should be top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it feels like, particularly with the addition of Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward. I thought that with that right-handed pop, it was going to make a huge difference, and it just hasn't. I mean, the fact that Ward's OPS is in the mid-700s and the guy's got 3 homers. It was mid-700s like 2 years ago, and he had 25 homers.
Yeah.
It's head-scratching.
It's head-scratching. The Gunnar Henderson thing, I think, Chris, is maybe the most head-scratching of all of it because I think the most simple way of explaining it is he's clearly trying to chase power, and slug, and he says, that's not the case. But it's almost more if that's not the case, it's more perplexing to me because Gunnar Henderson's supposed to be a baseball player. Like, he's the guy that coming up, everybody said, this is going to be a batting champion at some point. And I get it. We don't – like, somebody's going to win a batting title at 260 at some point in the next couple of years, so I don't even know if we're going to have a batting champion. But, like, that part of it is it's so confounding on the heels of, like, the 2 years where Adley Rutschman was confounding and now he finally figures it out. It is really hard to figure out what's happening to guys that get here, are really good, and then just look lost and how to explain it within this organization.
Well, when you guys got to the 100-win season and then followed that up with another playoff appearance, your young talent was the envy of the sport. Right? And we were sitting there saying, okay, Mike Elias all he has to do is figure out which 3 or 4, or even 2 or 3 if you wanted to go that route, guys that are totally untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you knew Gunnar was at the top of that list. Did you want to make Jackson Holliday near the top of that list? Rutschman had already had some all-star seasons. But which guys were you willing to move on from? Was it going to be a Jordan Westberg? Was it going to be Kobe Mayo? Eventually it was Stowers, who turned into an all-star down in Miami. And obviously they just gave up a ton of talent to get Shane Baz, and we'll see how that plays out on the other side of this. But it just feels like, man, this was a team that was running 1,000 miles an hour and literally hit a brick wall. And I think we're going to look back on this short stint of Orioles baseball and wonder why it wasn't significantly better. And I think a lot of us don't have answers, because if your team could get your hands still on a bunch of these guys, you'd feel like, heck yeah, I'd take them in a trade.
100%.
And for whatever reason, it just doesn't work with this team. I don't know if it's bad juju or what it is.
I have theories, and they're theories that I feel like we're gonna go through whenever it's over. Like maybe at some point if the Orioles do move on from Mike Elias, and I'm not trying to suggest that's something they should do today, anything along those lines, but I think we'll all have theories at that point. The one that stands out to me most in the immediacy, Chris, is like they did move on from all of the veterans from that group, and maybe put too much of a burden. Like, obviously, they tried to course correct with Pete Alonso this year and Taylor Ward, but I do think a year ago that really hurt them moving on from, and not that obviously Anthony Santander hasn't even played baseball since that point, but the Santanders, the Hayes, the Mullins, and the next group behind Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman has just not proven fruitful, right? Like, Colton Cowser has had a couple of weeks of really good baseball and has otherwise looked lost. I don't know all the answers. What I know is they're in the spot that they're in. And the conversation that's now come up most recently is, now should they be looking to maybe move Adley Rutschman at this point, as they've committed to Basayo sticking around? Every time that conversation has come up, I've pushed back a little bit, because the sense that I've gotten is that they don't believe Samuel Basayo is a full-time catcher, and that they always intended for there to be multiple catchers. And that doesn't mean that a Creed Willems or someone in the system couldn't come up and be that guy if they moved on from Rutschman. But it is a really fascinating conversation, because he becomes a free agent after next year, and you won't want to have this play out the way that it did with Manny Machado, where you finally sell him as a rental when you're not winning, and you just get pennies on the dollar for a generational baseball player a decade ago. What do you make of the thought process? Because they're not out of it. I mean, as you pointed out, the A's lose last night. They're still 2.5 games out of a playoff spot, right? And we've seen some good baseball, but it is really hard to look at this team and see that they're an actual contender to do something of significance versus, hey, the AL just happens to be mid enough that maybe you can hang around and nab a playoff spot.
Well, I mean, I think Rutschman is the key part of this discussion. Now, if you don't think that Basayo can handle a staff, that's a major issue, because then he turns into a DH, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have my buddy Trevor Plouffe, with whom I co-host Baseball Today, he's got the best label ever for a hitting catcher. He calls it a cheat code, because there's so few of them, it feels like. And there are teams that are like, you don't think that the Yankees would love to have a hitting catcher right now? They get virtually nothing out of that position. And I feel like if they get a hitting catcher, that might be the missing piece to upend the Dodgers, if that's who they would end up facing in a World Series, let's say. But I think that there's a bunch of teams that could use a guy like him, but that would scare the you-know-what out of me if they don't feel like Basayo can handle a staff, because then you're getting rid of a switch-hitting catcher who can handle a staff, who gives out great hugs, who seems to have discovered his swing, rediscovered his swing, and then you're giving him up. And that is going to be a hard thing for Orioles fans to swallow. But if you feel comfortable enough, then I would pull the trigger now. I would do it now, because with the impending work stoppage, I don't know what that's going to look like. Let's say next year, let's just play it out. Let's say they're a month late getting into the season, and instead of 162 games, we're down to 140 games, okay? And now you have even a shorter span of it. getting rid of Adley Rutschman as a rental to me sounds like an unmitigated disaster. So you either got to figure out in the next couple of weeks. I think we've blown past the point of no return for extending him. So it's either you deal with it and you just keep him and let him run out his course here in Baltimore, or you trade him now.
Chris, what you're saying is semi close to where I am, with the caveat being that if they felt like, hey, we still believe in the core of players that we have, and we are committed to, even at the deadline this year, even as we look at this team and don't think very much of it, if they're committed to, but we're going to look for maybe a pitching help that with control that we could have next year. And I know, as you point out, the work stoppage potentially complicates this, but if they are committed to doing what they haven't done the last couple of years, which is we're not just going and getting Chris Bassett, we are going to make sure that we are bringing in legitimate top-of-the-rotation pitchers. Like, if there is an all-in still to be had, then yeah, do that. But if their plan is we fundamentally don't agree with spending, $30 million a year on a pitcher, we're not going to be doing that, then I think they know their answer about whether or not they can win a World Series while Adley Rutschman's under control, and they have no choice but, to your point, try to move him right now.
Look, I don't think that you necessarily have to spend $30 million a year on a pitcher.
Yeah,
it helps.
Yeah,
right?
or go the route with a trade, like spend what it takes to get one of those guys before you. The way that they did, frankly, with Corbin Burns, obviously.
Yeah, but I take a look at one specific instance, and it's what the Atlanta Braves did with Chris Sale. Now, there was a guy who obviously was coming off of several injury-plagued seasons in Boston.
Yeah.
They traded him for Vaughn Grissom, who people felt like was a young, up-and-coming, everyday baseball player, and has since moved on to other teams, right? And so that feels like a shooting star, like a once, but that's where you got to get lucky, and that's how the Braves have kind of now built the rest of their rotation. Have they gone out and gotten these huge names? No, they've pretty much banked on decent guys to fill out the rest of their rotation, guys that they have drafted and developed. And I suppose that's the biggest difference between these two organizations. The Braves, you can look at the Braves and say they have a ton of homegrown talent, which they do. They also supplemented it with, obviously, the Matt Olson trade, which was enormous for them. But the Orioles have all this homegrown talent, too. It's just they have whiffed, for the most part, on the pitching side of this.
Significantly whiffed on the pitching side of it. They haven't drafted and developed. They really haven't. I mean, Kyle Bradish is a fair hit, like in a trade, like a fair.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, but
he's fine.
But not an ace. I mean, he's a good pitcher, and in moments, Trevor Rogers has been a good pitcher. But yeah, that's what they've got out of this. That's the reality. Chris Rose is with us here on GCR. Other than that, by the way, the play, I think Mrs. Lincoln really enjoyed the play. We were having this super pleasant conversation this morning, Chris. Is there any part of you that looks at this and says, this could all feel silly, there is still a lot of talent here, we could wake up before August 3rd, and the Orioles could have gone on some sort of tear, and they could have won, I don't know, 20 out of 30, something like that? Is there some world where you still, or have you just seen way too much of this to believe that that's possible?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, can they make the playoffs? They absolutely could. I mean, the injury to Jose Ramirez is probably going to slide Cleveland down a bit, and they currently hold a wild card spot. I just don't think much of anybody outside of Seattle in the West to feel like there can't be wild card spots to be had. I thought that Detroit and Kansas City were both going to eat up playoff spots, and it looks like neither of those are going to happen. So if the goal is to make the playoffs and take your swings in a 3-game series when you're on the road with that pitching staff, it's not ideal, but it could win. I mean, it could be fine. Now, the question is, to me, I feel like the Yankees are just significantly better than anybody else, and that includes Tampa Bay. I do think the one team to watch in the second half is Seattle. They're going to do this freakish piggyback thing with their starting rotation till the All-Star break, and then I'll see what their game plan is on the backside of July. I don't think Houston's pitching is good enough, even with the return of Hunter Brown now, to keep them involved in this thing. Texas is way too inconsistent, and you can't rely on Corey Seager to kind of be the linchpin of their offense moving forward. The White Sox have been a tremendous story. I'm not even so sure I wouldn't make them the favorite in the second half to win that division, but anybody else? I mean, come on, the Minnesota Twins bullpen is atrocious. And then we know what's gone on in the rest of the American League East. Toronto's been an unmitigated disaster for much of the season. Boston can't win anything at home. And Tampa Bay is a really good team. Very, very good team. I can't put them on par with the Yankees, but they're a very, very good team, in my opinion. So, yes, Baltimore can make the playoffs, but I don't know.
I think for me it's more of a context thing. Like, is there any world where you could justify that there? Because I agree with what you're saying, Chris, but as I think you and I probably agree, sneaking into the playoffs is not where the 2026 Orioles should be, and even if they do, as constructed, there's no world where you believe that they can make a deep playoff run and compete to win a World Series. So I'm really trying to figure out, like, is there a world where you can even justify going the other way and saying, hey, let's go be bold at the deadline and let's attack the top of the pitching market?
Okay. So are you saying, like, do you want to go try and add a full-on rental like a Freddie Peralta?
Yeah,
or are you saying...
I think uniquely they would have to try to find somebody with control, and that's...
Okay.
You know, like, I don't think they have an option but to try to find that, and I don't even know who that is, because I know that it's been hypothesized maybe the Giants would be willing to listen on Logan Webb, but, like, why? Why would they be willing to listen on Logan Webb? And what would that possibly cost to try to pry away Logan Webb? So I don't even know who that guy is that you would be acquiring that would have control.
Yep.
There we go. There we go.
I mean, we've identified the problems,
Yeah.
and Mike Elias, go get him, pal.
Yep.
Here's what Orioles fans have to answer for themselves. Would they be satisfied with making the playoffs in a crappy year for the American League, losing in the first round, or even, let's say, winning and being one of the final four in the American League, and let's say losing to the Yankees or the Mariners in round two? The thing is, you have to be, I think the hardest thing to do in sports is self-evaluate. Because I think a lot of the Orioles brass would say, hey, we had a good season. We want to win the whole thing, but we made it to the final four of the American League, and we were one of the last 8 teams standing. And you know that you could convince yourself that you had a good season, when in actuality, the whole league stunk. So I think you have to be willing to do a deep dive on where you are organizationally. Are you just happy enough getting into the playoffs and taking a roll of the dice there? Or do you really want to try and build something substantial to the point where you feel like teams are gunning for you instead of you gunning for them? And I think that the Orioles know the answer. They just might not want to say it out loud.
Well, and I think the second part of that answer is Mike Elias involved with that, right? Like, and I get that that's the baseball works now, that, like, the leaders of the front office have all the power, but if that's the direction that you're going, how do you justify that you know that Mike Elias is capable of being that guy if you're kind of abandoning everything that he's built over the course of the last 7 years?
Good luck with that. That's all I can say.
Fun conversation, Chris. Super fun. Well, I know you guys were talking about it on baseball today. What did you make of everything that happened between the Orioles and the Padres this weekend? I am so exhausted. I hate trying to have these conversations with baseball players because there's just a part of me that wants to say, do you hear yourself? Like, this exhausts me. But what did you make of it? And there's been a lot of pushback in Baltimore about Craig Albernaz coming out and saying, yeah, the Padres did it the right way. Like, really? Like, really, dude? You're going to defend your supposed to be best player getting thrown at? like that was a really awkward look.
Okay. So you saying like, do you want to go try and have these conversations with baseball players? Because I think a lot of the Orioles know the answer. They just might not want to say it out loud. I didn't love that. I wouldn't have liked it at all. We did talk about it. I hate it. Look, the pitch got away that hit Bogarts.
Yes.
I know that they had come up and in. I believe it was Machado earlier in the game. Okay, I get it. It's not fun to have the ball thrown at your head. You can talk to any major leaguer. It's not a thing they look forward to. They understand that pitches do get away. When Rodriguez missed Gunnar twice in the 7th inning, like, okay, you missed him. You blew it. Like, go explain to your teammates why you can't hit a guy. I mean, really? You can paint the outside corner, but you can't hit a dude? You had plenty of spots. And then 2 outs in the 9th? Stupid. It just looks stupid. And then I didn't like what Craig said. Your job is to protect your guys.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that has not happened the last several weeks. I'm okay with him not being on the same page with Basayo. I think that you have those discussions behind closed doors, particularly with a young player, right? I mean, these are separate topics, I know, but I think it all gets rolled into one when things are not going well, and that these are the things that become national talking points.
They do, 100%. They do, and leaves you sort of scratching your head about what's going on there. Chris, what can we plug for you, man?
Well, every day we got the Baseball Today podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcast, and our YouTube baseball channel, which is Jam Baseball. Really fun stuff all over the place there. I also do my weekly interview show, Dugout Discussions. Brian Wu of the Mariners is the latest guest. Hopefully going to be getting somebody from the Orioles while they're out here on their West Coast swing through L.A. and Anaheim over the next week, starting this weekend, so you can look for that. And be back on NFL coming up once we get to the NFL season, which is not too far away.
We look forward. We know we'll be talking again before then. Chris, always appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking the time for us. Hopefully the next one is a little bit more pleasant. Appreciate you doing it.
That's all right.
Dude.
I'm sure it will be. All right. Take
Thanks,
care,
buddy.
guys.
Chris Rose with us here on GCR. Oh, God, that was depressing. And like this is where it is, because like I try to put in these caveats of like go try to get controllable starting pitching, but like again, who is that? And I hypothetically throw out Logan Webb, but do I really believe that the Giants are trading Logan Webb? I know it's been a disaster, but like, do I really think they're trading Logan Webb? Like they're just sort of so much to offer that they could just blow them away. But this is the reality when you don't go spend the money to get those types of pitchers, is there's only so many ways to acquire them. Do you believe Jose Soriano is a legitimate top-of-the-rotation pitcher? He's having a very good year, and he's got team control. But do you believe that he's a difference maker and that you should be trading a boatload in order to get him because he's the guy you're going to go win a World Series with next year? Do you buy that? It's where I am.
Yeah. I mean, as an Orioles fan, yeah, I guess.
Do you really?
Like that Logan Webb would...
No, I'm not saying Logan Webb.
No.
I said Jose Soriano.
Oh, Jose Soriano. Okay.
Obviously, Logan Webb's that guy, but as I said, I don't think the Giants are going... I don't think... We can throw his name around hypothetically because the Giants are bad.
No.
That's the type of guy that, to me, like, you could go get that guy,
right,
and he would have control, and I think the Angels would be probably willing to. Although, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That is a good question.
This is like getting controllable starting pitching is difficult. Like, you've got to trade for warts. Sandy Alcantara, we keep bringing up, and I think at this point he's under control for one more year.
I think so. I think he's 27 through 27.
Yeah. Sandy Alcantara is that guy, but like Sandy Alcantara has never regained like ace form. You still
has a
see
couple times this season.
Yes, you still see the moments, but then what are his like? He's got like a 4 ERA, right?
Yeah,
like,
4.5 maybe.
Sandy Alcantara this season is
like
pitching to a 4.25 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, he's definitely not been bad.
Like he threw a complete game earlier this year.
Obviously,
like
in moments you see it, but
Yeah.
Sandy Alcantara hasn't been a stud since 2022. So you could roll the dice.
He's got
but
a club option for 2027. So
it's sort of like it's sort of like Shane Baz at this point. You're hoping that he could be that top of the rotation guy. But it is part of, like, one of the fallacies in my argument is those guys aren't available. And to Chris Rose's point, like, are you really trading for a rent? Is this team really trading for a rental? And again, that would require them going on some unbelievable tear. That would require them the 20-10 scenario that I talked about, which again now would be 20-9 because they already lost the first one after I've had that conversation. What is Freddie Peralta's? He's definitely, like, I thought there was an option maybe involved with Freddie Peralta, but it might be a mutual. Let me just make sure I have that right. He's just a free agent. There's no option whatsoever. So no. Maybe it's Joe Ryan that has an option of some sort. I was trying to figure out who those guys were. Yeah, Joe Ryan is a mutual option. Presumably not one he's going to choose to pick up. So who is it? Who is it? I don't have those answers. I don't have it. And it's why we're having these difficult conversations. And it's why I keep coming back to maybe the answer in the end is just you might have to trade Adley Rutschman. But, and we talked about a new Rita and Glenn available, youtube.com/@RitaandGlenn, and you can find out how you could win this unbelievable purse. This Ravens
It's a purse?
themed,
That's a football,
That's a
Glenn.
purse. It's a football, but it's a purse.
What?
Look at that. Find that out. This is an unbelievable piece. Thank you to Ann Gaylord, AnnGaylordBags.com. This we're giving away. Go watch the new episode of Rita and Glenn, which also has a truly iconic moment in show history involved. But go watch that right now.
What could that possibly be?
It was amazing. You can go watch that right now. Well, not right now, but after this is over. YouTube.com/@RitaandGlenn and find out how you can win that unbelievable Ravens-themed football purse. Which you say, hey, I don't use purses. I bet there's a female in your life who does that might want that. But I keep coming back to saying all the same things. We talked about it yesterday. I think the Orioles should try to hold on and win with Adley Rutschman. But I don't know if I trust that they're going to do what's necessary to all in with Adley Rutschman. And if they're not, then just holding on to him for funsies is never going to... I remember, and I don't want to try to single him out. He's a very nice guy. He's very good at what he does. But I remember, like, when we were going through all this with Manny Machado, our Rich Dubroff, who's now with BaltimoreBaseball.com, was our Press Box Orioles beat writer. And I remember, like, having a conversation with him where I brought up the topic, and he said, no, I don't think it's going to happen. You know, it's just not a lot of fun when you don't have a chance. And I was like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Is it fun to meander around 500? Is that fun? Because it's not bottom of the barrel? We all dealt with it. Yes, it wasn't fun, but we all dealt with the awful tanking seasons because you thought there was going to be a rainbow and a pot of gold at the end. And briefly, it was a fleeting moment.
We got like one, little coin.
Yeah. But you dealt with it because of that. The idea that, like, you need to hold on to these pieces because you'd rather be in purgatory than hell, it don't make a difference to me. I'm not campaigning for it. There's nuance here, and I think that's one of the difficult things that we have. I'm not campaigning for it. I want the Orioles to try to win with Adley Rutschman, but their efforts to win have been very half-hearted. They've been very, who knows, maybe everything will work out. It's not. That's part of the problem. But that's not a good justification for not trying to capitalize on an asset. And I don't like talking about it that way, but if the reality is that Adley Rutschman's not going to be a Baltimore Oriole, then 1 year less of Adley Rutschman being a Baltimore Oriole is not going to break my heart if it can help you in figuring out whatever your actual window might be. We'll have lots more time to talk about it, unfortunately. We'll talk about the World Cup when we come back in. Crofton native Kyle Beckerman is going to join us, former men's national team midfielder. If you haven't picked up this print issue of Press Box, these are the final days before it's gone. You can get it for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. And then, coming next week, a new print issue of Press Box. Well, there's something going on over there. A new print issue of Press Box featuring Orioles play-by-play voice Kevin Brown on the cover. We're looking forward to that coming next week. We'll talk soccer next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game. It's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. Look, man, unless the Orioles do go on that tear, we're going to keep talking about Adley Rutschman for the next few weeks. And it is interesting, like, how kind of all over the place. Our buddy Femi Ayanbadejo actually chipped in and said,
really?
Do you have to? Do you have to trade Adley Rutschman? Get an arm, especially with the contract to Sam. It feels like having two starting catchers and using one as DH limits the other guys on the roster, and that could be rotating as the DH. And to an extent, there's truth to that. I think, maybe the Orioles would tell me you're actually wrong about this. But in talking to people throughout the organization, I always got the thought that the Orioles do not really see Samuel Basallo as someone that's catching 130 games a year or whatever that. What is the magic number now for catchers?
How many games they catch?
Yeah, like I don't even know with JT Realmuto, like who's the top catchers in baseball? How many games do they catch? Is it 120? Is it one?
I'm going to see how many Cal Raleigh caught last year.
Yeah, right? Like, because he played a full season.
Yeah. Let's see. By position, how do I? Hold on.
You can just, we can do this a different way. We can do this way and find out how many.
120.
He was 121, yeah. Right? And so, if that's the number now,
he played 159 total.
Sure, that kind of checks out. I'm just trying to pull up like
the year in 2024 he caught 135, which was his career high.
145 is a hell of a number, man. 135.
135.
JT Realmuto has typically been, the last 3 years, he's been in the 130s, like 132, 133, 133. So I don't know. Maybe they would tell you we're comfortable with Basallo. Maybe not at 130, but we're comfortable with Basallo at 115, 120 for the next few years. I have gotten the sense that they have thought that he is more of a catcher bat, right? Like he can catch, but we'd rather have multiple catchers. And I could be wrong. I acknowledge that. It might very well be that they would say, no, we've actually, the more we've seen of him, the more we are comfortable. The events the last couple of weeks make me wonder about that. But, and again, as you brought up yesterday, it's possible that it doesn't have to be, even if they don't want Samuel Basallo catching 120 to 130 games, that they could look at Creed Willems and say, we've got the guy that's going to catch. We're going to keep going in a two-catcher system. That's what we want. But I don't know that you have to trade. I don't know that you have to trade Adley. I never believed that signing Basallo meant you had to trade Adley. I think you have to try to win a World Series. And if you're not doing that, then I think you need to try to maximize your asset.
Why would they want to win a World Series?
It's a fair question. All right, let's switch things up. Let's talk about something more pleasant, like the performance of the United States men's national team on Friday night as they went out and scored 4 goals. I know there have been some other decent performances in the World Cup, but I stand by, obviously, the U.S. is winning it all. This man knows a thing or two about playing at the top level for the United States. He is a native of Crofton. He is the great Kyle Beckerman, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Kyle, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to see you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us today. Did we freeze up? Oh, of course, right as soon as you there, Kyle?
I got you now.
All right, awesome, man. It's so good to see you, dude.
You too. Always good talking with some Marylanders.
Tell me about what's going on in your world these days. I know you've been coaching for a long time. Like, what's happening in Kyle Beckerman's world?
Yeah, so I stopped playing December 2020, and then I took a job as the head men's coaching of the men's soccer at Utah Valley University, and then I just finished that up in December of this year. And now I'm, kind of just seeing what's next and just trying to be the best dad and hubby I can be.
That's not a bad life. That's not a bad life. Good work if you can get it. Kyle, so let's just go back and then we'll move forward. Obviously, that first half on Friday night was about as good of a half as we have ever seen from the U.S. men. I know 2002, a lot of people brought up the Portugal match. And in general, a 4-1 win, impressive no matter who the opponent was. How real was that to you? How much did the opponent matter in that conversation? How much are you saying, all right, let's see what happens against Australia before we go too crazy about what we believe this team can do?
Yeah, no, like you said, it was an incredible performance. I mean, one, you would just, these guys have been thinking about it and dreaming about it for months and years now. And to finally, kind of come into that first game, get your feet wet in this North American World Cup. And it's exactly how you'd want to start a game. The energy, the intensity that they brought, they got the crowd into it early. And then once we got the first goal, it just seemed to, the confidence went through the whole team. Pulisic had that defender in his back pocket. He could do whatever he wanted. And it was just really impressive to see right off the bat how much they were clicking. Paraguay's a tough team, and I think we made them look bad. It was the way we played, I feel. That was more on, how are they as a team? They have a lot of good players. They're going to be tough throughout this group. They just caught us on a day that, there was nothing that was going to stop us that day.
I wonder, you bring up Christian Pulisic, right? Because there was some concern. He hadn't been scoring a lot of goals. Have we finally unlocked like the dominance of Christian Pulisic, where like he controlled the field. He controlled the field. And we'll talk about Flo because Flo was exceptional, obviously. But like what we saw on Friday night, do we now finally maybe understand like this is the greatness of Christian Pulisic? It's not defined simply by whether he's scoring goals. It's that everything he's doing is setting everything else up, and the attention that has to be paid to him is creating those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I think every time we come on the field with the U.S. team, that's what we want to see. And, that's easier said than done. And so, when we see that type of performance from Christian, it's, it gets us so exciting. And, when you see him playing like that, you think we really got a chance in this thing. And, but, it's tough because when you're playing, Paraguay had some good players that we made play bad. We made them have off days. And that's kind of what's going on in these, battles of these games. Not only, who's scoring, but there's these individual battles. And the defenders are trying to make their attackers have an off day. And that's what they're trying to do the same. And when these guys, these attackers and these top level players, when they get that confidence and they feel that momentum, it can be a really long day. And so for us, I think it's all about how can these boys get recovered after a hard, intense game that they put a lot into, a lot of emotion, a lot of physical effort, and how can we just now reset that and go again with that same intensity, same energy, and all that, and keep. And if we do, then that gives Christian a better chance to have that type of game he had last night or the other day.
What about Flo? Like, so much made about, hey, he's only even here because English didn't want. Like, the hell with that, man. Like, yep. This kid looks like the type of player that you really have not necessarily had in American soccer history.
Yeah, I mean, he's that performance was, again, there was numerous guys that had him, and he was the capper of finishing those chances, and he played amazing. And I think that's what everybody's been seeing with Flo, since he's arrived with the national team, is the potential is there. And it's all about, hey, how can we get those performances consistent? And I think he's still young. He's still got some time to grow. And a lot of these guys, we got to remember, is that last World Cup that they got under their belts is pushing them forward. Everything's a little bit, recognizable, a bit more comfortable. We're on home turf as well. And so I think when you get that comfort and you get that confidence, you're going to see the best out of these players. And Flo, I mean, if we can keep that going, they might say they didn't want him, but after this tournament, they're going to regret
wish they had him, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
He is the pride of Anne Arundel County, Kyle Beckerman, with us here on GCR. Kyle, Chris Richards was awesome. God, he was awesome on Friday night. The guy, I'll tell you the story. Alex Freeman, technically a Baltimore native, but not for long. Like, he was born here, and then he moved at a very young age, and he grew up in Florida. But I've known his dad, Antonio, for forever. He's a Baltimore legend, and I've gotten to know Alex the last couple of years. He's been a regular, and this really did almost, in a way, come out of nowhere, right? Like, his rise to not just being on the team, but being a starter on this team. I know the second half maybe wasn't quite as good as the first half was on Friday night, but I was almost emotional watching that because it, to me, was so class and so proved that he belonged on this stage that it gave me, goosebumps watching him at 21 years old as a guy that is only a couple of years removed from like the Orlando Youth Academy. Doing that and performing that way gave me so much faith in what he's going to be able to do for the rest of this World Cup.
No, for sure. I mean, it's and we say it in all sports, and especially in soccer, is how things can change so quickly, and you got to be ready to take those opportunities when they come. And I think he's done, a great job of putting his head down, working hard, just taking care of what he can control. And then the rest just kind of unfolded for him. And then the opportunity came and then he took it. And as we see, the potential and the ceiling is so high for him. He's already made, great strides in such a short period of time. It's just a credit to, what we got in the growth of soccer here in America. And it's really cool to see. And we're now obviously we're getting the payoffs of all that infrastructure that was laid, decades ago. And it's guys like him and others that, are really taking this opportunity and running with it.
Kyle, what are your concerns, right? Even after a 4-1 performance, what do you sort of look back and say, okay, but this is going to have to be better for this to keep going? Because as we all know, like there have been good wins from the U.S. before in the World Cup, but to turn that into now make sure you go win the group, and obviously Australia is what stands in the way of that happening at the moment. What maybe do you come away with and still have some questions or concerns about?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing that would be a concern is just how to keep that intensity and that energy for that long. I mean, a big part of our dominance in that game was as soon as we tried something and if it didn't come off, the reactions from every single guy to go win that back immediately. There was no, disappointment that the ball didn't to successfully land to one of our. It was immediately, there was no thought. It was immediately changed to the transition of defense and let's go win that back. And so by the time Paraguay got their, they get the ball, they look up, they're exhausted. There's three guys in front of them and he's trying to get rid of it. And then the next guy. So it was just the energy and that intensity that we had on those type of plays when it doesn't come off successfully, how our reactions were as this tournament goes on and as these games are going to get more important as we go on and the heat is going to heat up and we're going to get to some places, that'll be a big concern. How do we recover from these games quickly enough to then be able to be at that high energy and intensity for the next game? And if we can do that, then again, like I said, we got a chance.
What about freeze? Like, where's your confidence level? Because obviously, this in the past, the one thing that maybe we would always say is we trust the United States goalie situation, but I feel like maybe this World Cup more than any before, we felt a little bit shakier about it coming into the Cup.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns, but I think so far so good. I feel like it would have been nice for him to get that shutout in that game just to kind of get that on his belt. But I feel like after a performance like that, I feel like he'll have a lot of confidence. And all the guys, every athlete, you're always playing that mental game of I'm here, I'm ready, I got this. And the other one, well, are you ready? And shut up, you're ready for this. So for him, I'm sure there's some mental games like everyone, but after a win like that, he's got to feel a bit more confidence than he did coming in. Obviously, getting the start is going to give you some confidence, but then now going through an actual game and not just thinking about it, getting the win, he played well. Now I think his confidence is going to even soar even more. So, I got trust in him. We've always had good goalies, and he's just another one on the in the group of the goalkeeper union. And we're proud of him, and we want to see him continue to grow.
Kyle, what is this group capable of doing? I think about, you were part of a group that got out of the group stage, obviously, and I totally haven't still been thinking about what should have been against Belgium and maybe whether Kyle Beckerman could have fixed some of that. I totally have never thought about that. And Wando, I've definitely never considered that any of those things during the last 12 years. I'm very over it, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But, like, what is this group capable of? And I know playing – it's funny because I was maybe dismissive of the significance of playing on home soil coming into it, but it is wild. Like, I do think, and talking to a lot of the data people, they tell you, like, they make a much bigger deal out of that than you realize. What can this group do?
Well, I mean, I was saying this before, and it's each one of these guys, you got to dream big just to get to where you're at. To think I'm going to go to the World Cup, and you're thinking this at a young age, and then you go after that with the work and the progression and learning, and so in a way, you're already dreaming big. Why stop there? And you got to play these games. We've already seen a big, the draw with Spain and Cape Verde, which we thought was going to be a similar to the Germany route. So for me, I think these guys got to dream like we can win it all. And, there's been tournaments where teams that aren't traditional powerhouse names have gotten into semifinals and really made some waves in tournaments. And so for us, I think once the momentum started, and now it's about, can we keep this momentum going? And let's get out of the group, let's get past that, and then let's start to dream really big. If maybe we can go get this thing.
Kyle, we've seen some kind of crazy results. Obviously, the Spain thing is nuts. Like, there's a part of me that wants to say, well, this doesn't matter whatsoever, right? Like, it's one match. There's always a kind of crazy result that you get, but I still struggle to escape. Like, they didn't score a goal. Like, they didn't score one. What do you make of that? How significant it is? And clearly everybody's raving about Messi and Haaland from yesterday. Like, what are the big things that have jumped out at you so far that maybe matter as we move towards the knockout rounds?
Yeah, again, I keep getting back to that, how these guys are going to keep this level, all of the teams, the level of intensity and energy as the tournament continues to heat up. If you're defending for that long periods of time like Cape Verde, how long are you going to be able to do that before you break? And so I think you can do it for one. Now go ahead and do it for two. And I think that'll be a wake-up call for Spain. Obviously, Lamine Yamal only played 20 minutes. That would have been a huge factor if he's in for 90 minutes. You're seeing, what I've noticed is there's some teams that are, separate each other. The France, those top teams there's a bit just of quality that they have from some of the other teams in the tournament. Messi's going to do his thing. Argentina.
Did we write them off too much coming in, Kyle? Like, I think a lot of us were like, all right, Messi, he got his. Typically you don't win back-to-back anyway, and clearly we know where he's at age-wise at this point. Like, did we write them off too much, or are we maybe overreacting to 3 goals against a lesser opponent?
Well, maybe a little both.
Okay.
But, they're going to be in the shout for who's going to win this thing for sure. Every team that's played against this guy for, I don't know how many 1,500 goals he scored or whatever it is, they've all gone into the game saying, we got to shut him down. And they try, and he continues to just amaze. And he's going to have a shot. The France, the Spains, England, the traditional powerhouses are always going to be in there. And Messi, he just continues to get, he just evolves his game. And you're seeing that this game is simply, it's so much about these little moments in the game. And when you're getting near the field, near the goal in the box, and what he's able to do with these little moments, there's really just nobody really that's like him yet.
The one that he scored going to the left last night, like, there really was this part of me that was like, there's so much traffic there. And, like, when you watch him, you realize that he makes it look easy.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone, and I certainly never played this game. Like, I'm not trying to suggest that I would understand, but, like, holy crap, man! Like, even great players are not scoring in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is creating something where there is just nothing there. It is fairly well defended. It really isn't that they made a mistake. He just is capable of doing things that other human beings have not been capable of doing.
It for decades now. It is incredible. And it's I think we're lucky to be able to witness this right now, and I hope it goes on for another decade, but I doubt, age is going to catch up to him at some point, but hopefully it goes on for a lot longer. And then he has an off game when he plays against us. We'll take it.
Hey, my God, right? Like, may that be the one.
But he's been amazing. He's and it seems like the team around him really embraces the role of in a way we play for him, and you see the way they dog on defense for him, and they understand, and they realize, hey, when we get him the ball in the times when we need to get after him and get a goal, they have so much trust in him that you have no problem doing the running defensively for him. And as long as you got a group of guys that are willing to do that for him, he's going to be able to, affect the game in such meaningful ways that they're always going to have a chance.
Kyle Beckerman. I was going to try to plug your socials, but I realized that, like, you're just kind of off all that, right? Like, you're basically just doing dad and husband at this point, huh?
That's right. That's
good.
Just trying to, just like as a player, trying to get better every day and enjoy it. Everyone tells you how quick it goes with these kids, and so, I'm just trying to embrace it.
Man, it is great to catch up with you. I'd love to do this again as the tournament goes on if you'd be up for it. Kyle Beckerman, thank you for taking the time for us.
You bet. Anytime. See you guys.
Kyle Beckerman, part, of course, the 2014 World Cup team and native of Crofton. Appreciate him hopping on with us. I mean, yesterday was a lot of fun. It was. Like, not to suggest that 4 draws on Monday weren't fun. But yesterday was a lot of fun just for, like, action and the stars living up to it. John Little Rock was texting me during the Norway match, and he was right. Their kits were sublime. Like, the Norway kits looked excellent. And then they give up the goal. The momentum's going the other way right up until – and it's – just look at that. Go up. No. Go up to that first.
Well, that was.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, well, that was
Oh, that was George W. Bush in a Norway kit? Why is that the case? What the hell?
Because they were playing Iraq.
Oh, got it. Yeah, all right. My fault. I was trying to figure out how that piece of internet made sense. Holland, just look at that specimen in that kit. Somebody was, I don't remember who it was, but it might have been Jay Gruden for some reason, was texting was tweeting last night about how many players in the World Cup could be NFL players. And I was like, well, I can think of one.
Yeah, him.
Like, I can think of one definitively that whatever sport he's doing, he's just, I mean, just look at that. Jesus Christ. He looks like he should be playing soccer and competing in a strongman competition later. Like, what are you looking at, really? And again, the second one was just classic high ball pressure. Like, the stuff that you almost get annoyed at, like, oh, this never works. And it wasn't even like it was a dreadful giveaway from Iraq. It was just really good pressure, man. And Holland gets a second goal because of it as Norway wins. It's a fun day. It was a fun day. It was good to have a fun 6:00 match to watch since the Orioles didn't play and frankly didn't really play at all yesterday, if we're being honest. Didn't really bother to play whatsoever. All right. Everything. God, I just realized it really has struck me in the last 2 days that, like, this Adley thing is probably going to be what we're going to be doing for the next.
Unless they, go 29, right?
The nice part is that I am going away for 2 weeks, so I'll at least get some.
So you won't be able to watch it all? Is that the?
I don't think I will be.
Okay.
For those that I don't know. I mean, I've talked about it on Reading Glenn. I don't know if I talked about it over here. We're going to be taking a summer hiatus here on GCR. There's no way of getting around it. I hope Griffin will have stockpiled some, like, evergreen TikToks that we could maybe go back to at that point.
Or start reposting the good ones.
Yeah, we're taking a summer vacation. There's just no way around it. My family is going to Tanzania.
Wow.
For 2 weeks. The frustrating part is not just that I'm going to be missing the Orioles. And actually, I've been meaning to talk about that, like how we're going to handle man of the match.
Do I get the reins?
Do you want it?
Yeah.
But you understand, like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Man of the match, yeah.
And, like, update the website, update.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, you have access to the website wherever you're going to be, and it's just copy and paste off. Like, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
It's like everything else we do.
Website.
We don't put a lot of effort into it. But you really have to, and I'd have to give you access to my Do you have access to my Facebook? I feel like you have access to everything else.
Yeah. I don't think I have your Facebook.
Because I normally post on Facebook as well.
All right, I can.
It's fine. I mean, like,
maybe that'll be,
it's fine. You just
morning after. But Twitter will be easy. I'll be watching.
You gotta promise to not look at all the naked pictures that John Proctor has sent me over the years. All right, like, you gotta promise.
Fine. I'll promise not to.
I don't know if you do you remember there was a story that, like, a few years ago Facebook gave. It was called, like, a legacy. So if you were to pass away, you would have identified someone else that could go to your Facebook and post on there, like, something about you passing
like
away.
I just died.
Like, which is so dark, but at the same time, like you kind of understand, and certainly for like people that are more in the public, or really for anybody, like it is, if you want to get out like service details and that type of stuff, like you understand why it came into existence. My wife is not much of a social, like she's got a Facebook, but it's just to share memes about wine. Like that's it.
Wine memes.
That's the entirety of her social media. So I had my old roommate became my like we agreed to be each other's legacy person. I don't even know how it works. I don't know that I can get on his, like, I don't even know. It's one of these things that, like, when they announced it, everybody was talking about it and everybody was making it was like when MySpace, who was going to be in your top 8 friends. We were all talking about it, and I, to this day, would have no idea if and I pray it doesn't, but if my buddy were to pass away, I have no idea how to, like, go do that and get on his page so that I could inform people. I have no idea how that would work. But if you want it, because I was considering just making it something that we auctioned off, because I know you're going on vacation for a little while in there too.
Yeah, but I'll still be stateside.
You're
so,
planning on still being watching the games
Orioles,
and being invested.
Yes. Well, I mean, unless they lose the next 13 days in a row.
There's a danger of that.
Then maybe I just say, yeah.
You say, right? Hey, we're just not going to do man of the match. Didn't we do that at one point last year where we just gave up?
No, we were really close.
No, because then they started winning
kept
some
playing.
games.
They just kept like not.
You're right.
Yeah, I think when Hyde got fired, we were like,
maybe
this might be
just
the
call
end of it. But then
something else up there.
You were like, let's give it to Memorial
I have
Day.
had a lot of people ask me if we would do another Lamar meter. Like, I don't think I have it in me. I don't think I. Then
should we do a rush? The rush meter, is that the?
Oh, are they going to trade him?
Yeah.
If they were to like lose,
I think did I make one? Because we were.
It was
gonna,
about
like,
an extension.
Yeah.
And we were encouraged maybe not to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very complicated.
The tridometers,
a tridometer. It's very complicated.
We just put a different guy's face on there.
I don't.
So like some days we come in, it's Logan's Webb face on there. We're suddenly we're trading for Logan Webb.
Win a couple of games.
Yeah, and then we're like, we're trading Pete.
And
we're trading Pete Alonso.
And there's a report somewhere that like the Giants would listen to. I don't know what we do with any of that. But yeah, all right, you can be in charge of man of the match, but you got to be committed. Like when the game ends, you got to update on Facebook and Twitter. Never lose ever, and whoever the man of the match is, and you got to update the website too. So you got to be committed to that. That also would have us at least have a little website content.
If Rico Garcia pitches, those are the rules, right?
It did bother me that Rico Garcia had never made, and now he started. The worm has started to turn. Like he was their MVP, and I never got him on the board. And now,
well, maybe if he had came into the game last night, and
who knows?
He strikes out Cal Raleigh.
It still would have required them scoring a run, Griffin, and I
think it would have been different if it was a tie game. If Andres Munoz his back tightens up when it's suddenly a tie game.
Is that what it is? Yeah, for the first 2 weeks of July, I'm gonna be gone. I will be on safari with my family. This is a bucket list thing. Yeah, on holiday. A bucket list thing for my mother-in-law, and so it has been exhausting for me preparing for this trip.
Sounds exciting.
Exhausting for me.
What animal are you most excited
Normally,
to see?
I have these feelings. This is the problem, too, is that when you go on trips with kids, there is no vacation for you. You are working. Because now, we're in Tanzania with 2 prime asshole age kids.
Wow.
Boys. 11 and 9 that think there are no rules and they can do whatever they want and they can make poop jokes and they can make, this is... We could create an international incident. Like, there is a non-zero chance.
I bet you don't.
That my kids lead to us being involved in a news story and a documentary in a few years. Like, there is a non-zero chance of that. So the lead up to this trip has been exhausting for me. I've had to put an ungodly amount of hours. I've told the story on Rita and Glenn. It 23 hours to get visas. 23 hours that I put in for visas for my family. Trying to get all the vaccines that I have to get. Now I'm told there's only certain colors that you can wear in Tanzania. I apparently got to go neutral gang colors on this trip.
You just really want to go hunting these elephants, too.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's a big game. That's what we're doing. Me and Donald Trump Jr. We're going out there. I found that out this week. They're like, you can't wear red or blue. I'm like, that's what? Can't wear red or blue?
They said blue. You wore red yesterday.
The message I got was wear neutral colors. I was like neutral to what?
Does that mean green is neutral? Is that like?
I think I'm just literally supposed to dress like
black
you see people on safari. Like when
remember
gray,
like the brown,
like
gray, whatever,
tan, like that's what you're supposed to wear. Okay. That's what they consider neutral colors. And so, like, now I got to go order a bunch of clothes on top of everything else.
You got to put the Oriole jersey back.
I was told that my mother-in-law was paying for this trip. Guess how much it's cost me? I don't know.
$100.
More.
$200.
More. This is the Brian.
$10,000.
This is Brian Cohen in front of Congress. Is that his name, Brian Cohen, the fixer? What was that guy? Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen was his name. Brian Cohen, some news person. Michael Cohen was the fixer. Anyway, yeah, so the first 2 weeks we're going to be gone, and Griffin scheduled some trips around it. So there's just no way, like, we're not going to be doing fill-ins. We're not going to be doing, like, KZ coming in here and doing a thing with Griffin. I don't know if there's a day in there that maybe you can do a show with Stan or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out at that point, but it's looking like there's going to be 2 weeks of no shows. So I do get a respite from that, but it's just striking me that, like, this is going to be the topic of conversation. This is going to be it. And the thing that could end it would be, or not end it, but it could at least quiet it, would be like Mike Elias coming out and saying, no way, no how, we will not be doing that. But that's not a good idea either for two reasons. One, because, like, if you took him at his word, why are you shooting down? What if there's a team that wants to give you 5 of the top 30 prospects in baseball for Adley Rutschman? Like a king's, include major league ready guys. Like a king's ransom. Why would you actually decide there's no way, no how that we're trading Adley Rutschman? And if you say anything other than that, then you're leaving the door open. So even if they said, like, we have no intent to trade Adley Rutschman, you know, clearly we'll listen to anything, but there is no plan. But if you say that, then all people hear is, well, they're not ruling it out. So it's a lose. Like, Mike Elias can't talk about it.
What do you think next time he's going to talk? Yeah. Probably do it on the West Coast so that there's limited, less
reporters. I don't know. I don't know when the next time he's going to talk is. I mean, if this
would make sense to do it.
If this goes from a 3-game losing streak to a 8 or a 9, something like that. Like if somebody's talking about Craig Albernez's potential getting fired, that would cause him to talk. Or if they do make a move, or is there a significant injury that he'd need to discuss? Like, the Westberg's already shut down for the years. There's someone else.
Like if Kramer takes a turn for the worse, but
like something like that would require you to talk, I guess. But short of something like that, I don't know. I don't know what it would lead to. Mike Elias doing a gaggle. Now he might
Bassett, I guess, since he's the one who. There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, well, that is a good point. I guess it's possible that they just let Albernez announce whatever it is, but
or he says Felix is coming back.
Yeah, sure.
Felix is back, and he's gonna be a starter now, and then boom,
that'd be crazy. All right, when we come back in, we'll get a tidbit, we'll get tubular, and then we are going to take a trip down to Frederick. There are pitching prospects to be found in the Orioles system. JT Quinn is one of them. We'll talk to him before we get out of here today. Today's show also brought to you by CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Even during the summer, they're going to be keeping you updated, coaching changes, news, and then starting to look ahead to high school football season. CountySports.zone.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, and you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game, it's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Wednesday edition of the program. A couple of notes. It is interesting. So apparently Jeff Passan and Kylie McDaniel did a piece for ESPN where they rank the top 100 trade candidates.
We should do that too.
100. I don't know if I can name 100 players. And like the internet is having some fun with it because apparently on the list you can find Ryan Mountcastle. Which, what? Like, what? But there's a few Orioles that are on this list. In fact,
Taylor Ward is the highest.
Taylor Ward at number 12 is the highest. And then they are connected to a lot of players on the list because like they do best fits for a lot of the guys that are available, and they connect, for example, Reed Detmers, who I know. Remember how much Stan used to bang on the table for Reed Detmers when he was struggling? You know, when Stan's right, like when Reed Detmers was struggling, Stan was like, that's the guy you target in a trade because he could be the guy that could get back to the majors and be a difference maker. Well, as it turns out, Reed Detmers.
Well, he also put best fits half the league, so
that's fair. But I understand why the Orioles are on this list. Reed Detmers finally back as a starter with the Angels this season and pitching to a 3.6 ERA and 1.0 WHIP. Reed Detmers has been excellent. Now, is he definitively a top-of-the-rotation game changer? This is the difficulty about having the conversation. Like, you'd have to pay something real for Reed Detmers because he still has 2 years of control. When we're looking for pitchers that have control, which is what you would say if the Orioles are going to be acquiring, that's probably what you have to do because you're hard-pressed to believe that this is a team that can win a World Series this year. Reed Detmers fits in that category. But the difficulty of that conversation is, do you genuinely believe that he's an ace? Or is he 2025 Trevor Rogers? Is he a guy having a really good season? And you got to pay a lot to get him because of his control? And then you find out he's just a middle of the rotation, sometimes lower end of the rotation guy, and not actually the game changer that his numbers suggest that he is? Look, there's a reason why Reed Detmers would be on this list as someone the Orioles should target. That does make sense, period. That makes sense. But they also have him connected to Jose Soriano, who he brought up earlier, and it's sort of the same conversation. Like, fits what it is the Orioles should be looking for, but are you paying a price for an actual top-of-the-rotation guy, or are you paying a price for a guy who's put together a good stretch of pitching and is just going to be another Trevor Rogers, Shane Baz a year from now? As Griffin points out, the top trade candidate on the Orioles roster going the other way, they have at number 12 is Taylor Ward, and they give it a 40% chance of Taylor Ward being traded. I also have Rico Garcia on the list. You can understand that. You're trying to sell high on someone who might have significant value. They put Trevor Rogers on the list at number 68. That's a conversation that we've had less of that conversation because Trevor Rogers' value has not been sky high.
I mean, I guess they did trade Charlie Morton last year. So.
No, you can definitely trade him. There's no doubt that pitching is a commodity. Somebody will give you something. It's just, it feels again like you're trading him for maybe not pennies on the dollar, but dimes on the dollar at this point for Trevor Rogers. But if this continues, then you got to trade anybody who's a pending free agent. Like you do, you have to. If it continues to go this way, and you're 6 to 10 games under 500 at the deadline, you're absolutely going to be trading Trevor Rogers at that point for whatever it is that you can get. And then I mentioned Mountcastle. Who was the other one they had on the list? Kittredge. Yeah, Kittredge was the other one.
Kittredge.
They had on the list. But it was pointed out to me, whose name isn't on that list is Adley Rutschman. And you would think that if it was something the Orioles were seriously considering how plugged in Jeff Passan is, that he would at least pop up somewhere on the list. Fair. I can't speak to all of the reporting practices of Jeff Passan. It might be that in doing this, he says, hey, we haven't heard anything yet, so we're not going to put that list out there. We're not going to consider that. Or it might be something where, again, the next couple of weeks matter as to whether or not the Orioles will even consider it. It might very well be that as much as we don't believe they're a World Series contender, their willingness to consider it is based on just how far out of the picture are they. If they're at 2 games under 500, but that smells like they'd probably still be within a game or two of a wild card spot, then they might say, look, man, we got to go for it. So I don't know, but that is interesting and it is relevant. From Rod, I don't know that I've ever talked to Rod before. Rod says
Rod Woodson.
I don't think it's Rod Woodson. We have definitively talked to him. Okay. I don't think it's Rod Smith either. Go ahead, let's do it.
Rod Barajas.
I don't think it's former New Jersey Nets president Rod Thorne.
What was Andy Samberg's hot rod? That,
you know what? I'll give it to you. I don't think it's former DePaul and NBA point guard Rod Strickland.
All right, so it's not no. It's because it's Rod Dennis Rodman. Yeah.
No.
Yes. Rodman.
No.
Rodman.
But just for the hell of it, fine. I don't think it's a former outfielder and Tigers broadcaster Rod Allen. Is he still with the Marlins? I feel
maybe
like it's with the Marlins.
Are you sure it's not just like a plain old fishing rod?
Oh, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. I cannot continue to allow this.
Come on.
Well, it's definitely not the man who gave us "Wake Up, Maggie, I Think I've Got Something." Do you know? Do you even know who that is?
No, Rod.
Forever
Smith? No, you already said
young.
Rod.
This is a music icon. This is bad.
Okay, sorry.
Rod Stewart.
Oh, Rod Stewart. I was gonna say Rod Stewart.
Jesus Christ.
Like a lightning rod? That counts.
Tennis legend Rod Laver, the man they
get
literally
that. I
named
mean,
the
yeah,
arena
yeah.
for at the Australian Open.
That one's always on at 2 a.m.
I think I've got
I don't
at
watch
least
that.
2 more. I think I've got at least 2 actual rods, unlike you.
Lightning rod? That's
Stop.
I'm a lightning rod.
I was pushing it, letting you have hot rod, and then you attempted to go with Dennis Rodman. You know who the king of the rods is, but
Dang, I don't know if I have any more rods. Rod. I might be out of rods.
All right. That's because you definitely don't know this one. The announcer from the show The Price is Right was named Rod Roddy.
Oh, come on. That's not. Oh, yeah, Roddy Rich. I'll do Roddy Rich.
That's not.
Rapper Roddy Rich.
No, you're trying to do a whole thing.
That counts. I got it in at the buzzer.
No, you didn't. But it would still be your turn again in this scenario, even if I allowed you to do that.
About John Little Rock's not listening. Rod, the rod that is question that has this question.
Listen to me.
What?
If I was using your we could be here for an hour.
What other rods can you think of?
If I'm doing anything that involves the letters ROD being in the name, I could be here for an eternity.
What was the girl? I guess that might not be how you spell it. The woman monster from Monsters Inc. Who was like the secretary. Roz. Yeah, Roz. Okay, Roz.
You think that Roz is going to keep you in the Roz game?
Yeah, I think it does.
You think that's going to be the case?
Just names that start with R.
You got to double check on this one, but I am pretty sure that Ned Flanders' 2 sons were Todd and Rod. I am almost certain that Rod and Todd were the names of the 2 sons that Ned Flanders had. That we're not going to church today. Well, you give me one good reason. It's Saturday. I'm almost certain that those were their names. You double check on that.
Yep, Rod and Todd.
Rod Flanders.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Sure, good job.
Mm-hmm. And you have...
I have...
Just tap, asshole. Just tap.
Well, now that we get the internet...
No, you're not allowed to look them up.
Rod Carew.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't think of Rod Carew, actually. That's a really... I got Rod Flanders before I got Rod Carew.
Right,
a former guest of this program, in fact.
You said Rod Strickland.
I did say Rod Strickland for sure. God, that's a bad look. If we were doing the game that you were doing, I would be able to use Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong? That would count. You could.
No, it doesn't count. It's not Rod. The game is a Rod game, not a Roddy. Although Roddy technically counts for both. Yeah.
I guess there's no more rods.
Just say it for F's sake.
Rod.
God, Jesus.
Rod. I guess you're the. Rod Wave.
You're looking things up on the internet. It doesn't count.
I should have known Rod Wave. Yeah,
it doesn't count. That is a bad one. That is one that we should have come up with. Yeah. Again, before Rod Flanders. Definitely should have been higher on the list.
I guess you just barely.
Just barely. Just eked
by
out.
the skin of your teeth. You are. Again, by that much.
Yeah, just say the words.
You're maybe just a prince.
No, that's not what you say. Say it.
You're the king of the rods.
Thank you. I believe I remain undefeated in this game. I believe that's the case. What were we doing? Oh, we were talking about
somebody named Rod.
Rod got in. Rod got in and said, "This feels like a forced narrative. I understand that the Orioles
Rod
are
Brindamore.
losing." Oh my God, Rod Brindamore! Holy hell! Oh, that is a bad one. That is a bad one. Just talking about him yesterday. Holy crap. This is the forced narrative. I understand that it's difficult. The Orioles are losing, but I feel like you're trying to force something that isn't there. No one actually believes this is going to happen. I've kind of said that. I've said that, like, the reporting about it to me has been flimsy, Rod, with respect. It's been very flimsy, like something that's brought up on a podcast that then gets retweeted 100 times as if it's an actual report when it's really just hypothesizing. I've acknowledged that. What this to me is about is no longer it's about reporting. It's about actually having a conversation about it. And truth be told, the fact that it's now sort of become a predominant topic really is just because John Meoli and I were talking through it. That really is what happened yesterday. John and I talked through it, and I found myself at a place where I said, I know I'm dismissive of the reporting, but I do believe the conversation is warranted. And I think some of it is just that we forget how close Adley Rutschman is to being a free agent. Lawrence got in today. Lawrence has been a regular, I think still down in Louisiana. It said, genuine question. I've seen the he's past the point of signing argument thrown around recently. Did I miss something there? He's not a Boris client. Is there a reason he's not an extension candidate? Well, I think there's twofold. Now that he started to perform again, presumably what he's looking for is an ungodly amount of money. And I think the first question is, are you ready to throw an ungodly amount of money after Adley Rutschman, who has definitely been hitting again this year, but who went the better part of 2 seasons with looking like he wasn't even a major league player? So I think it starts with that. How comfortable are you with that conversation? And then you build off of that with the stuff that we know, which is, of course, players typically, when they get this close to free agency, when they're making their money in arbitration, say, well, we could negotiate with one team, or we could negotiate with all of the teams. And it doesn't mean that you can't. Obviously, we're not that far removed from Vladimir Guerrero doing that and saying, if you're going to pay me now, I don't think Adley Rutschman can get what Vlad Guerrero got because I don't know how many players can. But that's ultimately how that got sorted out, right? Like the Blue Jays essentially said, we are going to outbid anything you could possibly get on the free agent market. And they were able to keep Vladimir Guerrero because of that. I don't even know how comfortable I would, like, I would be excited about the idea of the Orioles making someone a tentpole Oriole. But what is that number for Adley Rutschman at this point?
The highest paid catcher this season is Cal Raleigh, $17.5 million.
What's the number? What is a big contract look like?
So Cal Raleigh signed before, or I guess maybe it was during last season. Probably 6 years, 105 was Cal Raleigh's contract that he signed last year.
It's the biggest.
Will Smith got a 10-year contract in 2024 with LA. 10 years, $140 million.
Joe Mauer got 180 in 2010. Holy smokes.
Jeez.
Real Muto was 115. Buster Posey was 167. You pointed out Will Smith. Forgot about Joe Mauer.
Yeah, Joe Mauer.
So yeah, there's an argument that this number is not as crazy as I put it. It clearly was never going to be Vlad Guerrero money, but it's not even as crazy as we think. Now, that said,
JT Realmuto, who's 34 now, signed a 3-year, $45 million contract with.
Yeah, again, age
over the winter
clearly was a factor in that. Probably, if I had to guess, Adley's group, which is not Boris, it's Beverly Hills, if I remember correctly. Adley's group is saying, no, we're definitively not going to sign with anyone because you need to just go out. If you do this for one more year.
Spotrac says Dan Vertlieb.
Yeah, I believe
he's team.
The team now? Is that where he's? Okay.
That's what it says, the team.
If you go out and do this for one more year, then you have the ability to get the Joe Mauer type of contract. Mm-hmm. You have the ability to get the biggest one ever.
And maybe anyway, if there's no baseball next year, right? Like,
fair.
Yeah.
Now, is there a world in which the Orioles should say, hey, if that's all it's going to cost you is 184, you should just go ahead and do it. Like, that's not funny money. That's, in baseball terms, reasonable money. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that. Are you confident about that today? I don't know. It's a complicated question, Lawrence. Like, it is. It's just typically not the way that it works. Typically the way that it works is guys get this close and then they say, let's let everybody have a shot, not just you. And they say, we'll listen to you. You'll have the same shot as anyone else, but we're not giving you any favors. And so if that's the case, if that's where they're at, where let's say hypothetically they tell you, sure, you can have Adley Rutschman for $8,250. You say, well, that's not what the market is. Okay, well, we're telling you if you want to have us avoid finding out what the market is, then that's what you can have him for. It's very complicated here. My point is, if they're telling you, no, we're going to the market no matter what, if that's what you're getting back, then it starts with that. If they're listening, if there's a conversation to be had, then it does change it. But if they're telling you we're going to the market, then triggers the next domino. The next domino is, how hell-bent are you on fixing this? How hell-bent are you? And we will do whatever it takes. We're not going to be outbid for a pitcher. We will get a number one, maybe even number two in the pitching market. Between trades, free agent signings, the top of this rotation will be dramatically different. And maybe sign a bat that's a little bit different than the bats that you have. How much are you willing to do that? If the answer is David Rubenstein wants to write another book about what it takes to win a World Series, and so he'll do anything, and he's told Mike Elias, the hell with the Pythagorean theorem, we're going to spend funny money, then by all means, hold on and go try to win a World Series next year. But if it's not, if it's no, we're preferring making sure that we're making money and, Mike Elias's Pythagorean theorem is what we believe in, then there we are. All right, we've gone too far with this. I'm sorry. We got to wrap up. Because we're going to be talking about it again tomorrow, Griffin. That's the reality. We don't need to. We're going to be talking about it until I'm on the other side of the world. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. If you missed Stan, Ross, and Luke talking baseball yesterday, you can find it right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn with two great locations, one in Timonium, the other in Dundalk. That's the OG. And, of course, Warnken Law as well brings you the Stan the Fan Variety Hour.
That guy we were talking about with Kyle Beckerman, Messi.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah. 3 goals yesterday, tied for the most now in a World Cup, in most World Cup goals all time. Tied for the most.
I actually didn't know that until last night. I found that out last night.
Obviously, they were mentioning the other guys. Can you name?
I did not. It's really funny you say that.
Can you name them?
I did not hear that. Let's say Pelé.
He is in the. I'm looking at the top 7. So yes, he has 12. Which makes him 7th.
Let's try Ronaldo, like the Ronaldo.
The Ronaldo is up there.
Okay.
Hold on.
I always, as a kid, it was always Pele, and then all of a sudden, the last few years, it's been Pelé. Also, what is...
Ronaldo is 15, so he's 3rd.
I don't know if you caught this when we were talking to Kyle Beckerman. I think I might have been butchering Balogun. I swear to God I heard Balogun on Friday night. And then
I thought I heard Balogun as well.
And then Desmond was pronouncing a different way, and then somebody told me that, like, British to American, like there's a...
What did he say? He said No.
Balogun or something like that. Like
Balogun.
We need to get the bottom of these things because I don't want to sound like an asshole. I don't want to be the ugly American here.
Too late.
God, how about I really don't know. How about it's not David Beckham.
No, it is not.
I don't think it's Henri.
No.
It's not Zlatan. It's not Villa. It's not. God damn, this
16 for Messi. He is tied with a German.
Klose. I was between
Miroslav
I was
Klose.
between him and Mueller.
Muller is on the list as well.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Gerd, right? Gerd? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Gerd Muller. Gerd Muller.
Call him Gerard? I don't know.
Wikipedia calls him Gerd. He has 14, tied with a Frenchman.
But it's not Henri.
It is not Henri. There's 2 Frenchmen. You're missing 2 Frenchmen.
Two Frenchmen.
Yeah. Sorry, Gerd Muller is technically a West German, not a German.
Is Zinedine Zidane?
No.
Is it Mbappe?
Mbappe has 14.
No.
He scored 2. He came in to the tournament with 12, tied with Pele. He scored 2 yesterday. Now at 12, or excuse me, 14. Now at 14, tied with Muller.
He's really good.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna probably set the record, right? I mean, assuming Messi, unless Messi never stops.
Right,
but.
right. Messi just plays till he's 50, and they're
he's got 14 goals.
Dude, you won us a World Cup. You can play in a wheelchair.
He's got 14 goals in 15 matches.
Damn.
And now he's got an entire World Cup left, and probably at least 2 or 3 more. Because Mbappe is 27.
You know what's real? What I just realized? I think I was thinking of the other Muller. I think I was thinking of
like the more Thomas Muller.
That's who I was thinking of. That's who I was thinking
10.
of.
He has 10.
That's so funny. I ended up getting it right by accident. I was definitely thinking of the other Muller. I don't even know who the other one is, frankly.
There's a Frenchman. I guess you probably won't be able to get this one. He played in 1 tournament. 1958.
Oh, for F's sake.
He scored 13 goals in 6 matches with France. Did they win in 1958?
I don't know.
Just Fontaine.
In my life. Never in my life have I.
You don't want to play the Just Fontaine game?
No. You want to name other Justs?
There's another Just. I think there was one yesterday who scored a couple goals. Or had one waved off, maybe.
I believe you.
Who's the leading American goal scorer all time?
I assume it's Landon Donovan.
It is. He is 5.
Okay.
He is 5.
Oh, man, I don't know who else it could possibly be.
I guess that's. Let me make sure I didn't have any other.
Clint Dempsey scored
ones.
a couple, obviously, but.
All right, yeah, we can move on.
All right, very good. Let's get tubular. It's cool. Just wait.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise this evening. The Orioles will send Kyle Bradish to the mound, which used to make us feel good. I don't know. George Kirby goes to the Mariners, 9:40 on Masson. Or if you live in Pittsburgh or the nebulous athletics market. I don't know what that market is. Is that Vegas? Is that Sacramento? Is that Oakland? I don't know. But if you live in whatever the athletics market is, then you can watch it on MLB Network as well. Fox for Portugal and Congo coming up in just a few minutes. Then England and Croatia at 4 o'clock. FS1 for Ghana and Panama tonight at 7. Uzbekistan and Colombia at 10. College World Series elimination games for some teams, but not for the others. It's one of these, the team that's lost has to win twice scenario. So like West Virginia would have to beat North Carolina twice. They play at 2 o'clock on ESPN. And as we're going to talk about with JT Quinn, Georgia has to beat Oklahoma twice. It's tonight at 7 o'clock. Look how smooth that was. Look how smooth that was. Everything else, go to glennclarkradio.com and find it there. Non-sports.
Yeah, let's see. The season 1 finale of Widow's Bay on Apple TV.
Oh, John's on the Trade-em. I didn't even realize John was on the Trade-em boat.
Trade him tomorrow.
Wow. I think John's just frustrated, though. I think that's
I mean, I am too. Yeah. There's nothing else really good. This show looks, I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be good, but it looks interesting. It's called $1 Million Nannies on Freeform. So a group of elite
If
nannies.
it's on Freeform, I have.
Yeah, it's a group of young elite nannies head to Ibiza to launch a new kind of agency built by nannies for nannies.
Okay. Sure.
The Culture Awards are also tonight on Bravo.
Is it this bad? Is that? Are we just? It's the
Well,
summer.
I mean,
it's also the
World
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found myself I want to watch the College World Series, but I'm like, there's a World Cup game on.
Yeah,
right now.
it is tough. Right.
Like Messi's playing right now.
It's tough.
I think I want to watch that.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Very, very good. Thanks today to Kyle Beckerman. Thanks also to Chris Rose and to JT Quinn, who you're about to hear from. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
John Cena and Olivia Cook on Fallon tonight.
Who's Olivia Cook?
She's an actress in. Hold on, let me. I've heard her name before. I know.
I
she's
inevitably feel like I would have to say no. I would not go to that tour because
she's in House of Dragon. That's what it is.
Okay, that's not my thing.
Also, Bates Motel. Slow Horses. She's done
and I've
random
seen
stuff.
John Cena on tour a lot in my life, so I think I'm gonna pass on that tour.
But it's John Cena. This one you'll go to. Walton Goggins and
yes is the answer.
Science
Yes.
Bob Pfluger.
I don't know what that is, but yes, still I'm going. Who? Science Bob Pfluger?
Yeah, he's on Camel.
All right.
Bob Pfluger. I think he's is he like a YouTube guy? Yeah.
If you say
ScienceBob.com.
If you say so.
So he makes science fun.
Tab at
you would love it.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com.
He's like, look, this is gravity.
Sure.
And
Are we
but he
doing
makes it
anything
interesting.
tomorrow?
We're trading Adley Rutschman, probably. I think that's
Jesus Christ. Thursday's now our big day because we don't do the show on Friday.
Right.
So Thursday is supposed to be like last week we ended the show with Trey and Emery Jones and Chris McAllister.
And that was nice of them to stop
That's how
by.
we wrapped up the week.
Well, that was on
last
Friday.
week. Oh, so you're saying we have to go back to Friday in order to...
Like last week, I didn't have to book anything on Thursday.
Okay. So you're just...
So I think it's
the
like
rhythm
I'm
is
kind
off.
of like a week. Yeah.
The rhythm's
exactly.
off. I get it now. I
It's kind of like a
understand.
circadian
Again, if you missed
rhythm type
if you missed Rita and Glenn, Griffin legitimately the star of the show this week. If you missed Rita and Glenn, go watch youtube.com/@Rita and Glenn. It is worth your time. I also put it up in the archives as well, the audio version of the show. All right. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, Costas Inn, Baltimore area Highs Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, Merriweather Post Pavilion, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, the Maryland Department of Health, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks. We wrap up the day with a trip to Frederick. Well, it's time for us to make a trip to Frederick to chat with a member of the High A Frederick Keys. And this week, one of the Orioles' top 20 prospects. He is starting pitcher JT Quinn, off to a great start to the season, and he is with us now here on GCR. JT, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to meet you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Yes, sir. No problem. Great to meet you, too. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, JT, let's get to the important stuff first, right? Like, Georgia needs 2 wins the next 2 days against Oklahoma. How good are you feeling about their chances?
Man, I feel good. There's a bunch of studs over there, so I'm ready to watch, and I think the boys can take it home. I think they got this, so we'll see. We'll see.
I hear you. Are you at all disappointed by the Georgia fans' performance in the Jello Shot Challenge?
You know, I was a little bit. I know there's been a lot of negative reviews on the Rocco's place.
Yeah, I know. Pat McAfee did not put it over particularly strongly.
Yeah, I saw that too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know they're big drinkers over there. They got a good team, and they could make a run if they want, for sure.
I was looking at the numbers.
Sure.
I was looking at the numbers last night, and it's not like Georgia is sitting at 4,344. That's respectable and all. I just feel like maybe this year was the wrong year because West Virginia had never been there before, and my God, they sent out the big guns. I feel like the game was maybe a little bit rigged this time around as far as the Jello shots were concerned.
Yeah, it was kind of over the second it started, it looked like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's the case. I think that's the reality. Yep. JT, I want to talk about the season that you've been putting together, man. Walk me through coming into this year. What were your priorities? what was it that you most wanted to work on, and how happy are you with the first few months of 2026?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, honestly. This is my first year in, a full starting role, and I think that was pretty big for me, and something I really look forward to coming into the season. I think the biggest thing for me was I just wanted my command to be really, really good, and there's been times this year that it's been that way, but there's been times where it hasn't. So I've been a little frustrated with how things have went recently, but other than that, it's been really fun, and just being able to play with this team, it's really cool, and it's just a lot of fun up here. So I'm having a blast.
Obviously, you referenced so last year you get drafted pretty early on. Did you what were the months between the draft and now? What was it that you were doing? What was it that you were working on between that point and then the start of this season?
Yeah, it was good. I focus a lot on my mechanics and just my ability to throw strikes with all my pitches, and this is kind of the first year I've had a really big mix, so that was something also I wanted to really focus on is how do I bounce from pitch to pitch and still be effective and throw the ball where I want to throw it. So that was something where I really focused on the offseason for sure.
Were you aware at all of like the fact that the Orioles historically, at least under this organization, hadn't typically taken pitchers this early on in the draft? Had anybody talked to you about that? Did that mean anything to you that you were someone for an organization that doesn't do this very frequently, but they did think to take very high in the draft?
Yeah, I think it was cool. I didn't know that after the draft. I had some family and just some people tell me that, obviously. But I do think it's cool. But yeah, other than that, I really haven't focused on that, and just just trying to be myself and pitch well. And obviously, none of the draft stuff matters anymore. It's all kind of thrown out the window once you get to this point.
That's
so
a great point. Now you're
I'm trying to focus on it, but yeah.
Now you're just competing. I completely understand that.
Exactly.
Did you, obviously we think about the second round of last year, did you have any connection at all with Joseph Jerva, or like did you know him at any point from the circuit, anything like that? And how much have you maybe connected with him as you guys have kind of come in at sort of a similar situation, both college guys coming into this organization, both very similar picks?
Yeah, he's been awesome. It's great to have somebody to just he's been kind of my best friend up here, and so it's been fun just to be able to work with him. And I didn't know him prior to the draft, but we got drafted together, and the people who I knew who've played against him, and he pitched against I think USC last year. I knew somebody from there, and they were like, this kid he's the real deal. So I kind of knew that going in, and I kind of expected this little takeoff that he's had here now. Right? So it's been cool to watch.
Flying through the system, obviously. You're both bigger dudes, right? Like, did you ever maybe like line up and just see who could maybe hump it like the hardest? Like who actually could maybe have a radar gun competition, anything like that?
Yeah, he's got no shot at that. Just like I got no shot in a strike competition against him, but to each their own.
I love that. JT Quinn is with us here on GCR. JT, yeah, right. I was about to name the show after you for a second.
Yeah, it's close.
That being said, we've seen you hit like 99. Walk me through how you handle knowing that you've got the devastating ability to deliver heat, but I'm sure you've had conversations in the organization about how frequently they want you to do that and taxing your – like, walk me through how much you use that, where you want to be sitting regularly with the fastball.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in today's game, velo's king. Obviously, the harder you throw, the better your stuff is going to be. So I mean, there's obviously a little focus on let's try and throw harder and let's do this, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. There hasn't been a whole lot of focus on velocity and stuff. It's just it kind of is what it is to an extent. I just my biggest focus has been command and just the ability to control the strike zone. That's where I find myself having the most success.
You referenced that earlier, right? There's been a couple times this year you've been disappointed in that. Can you walk me through, obviously being at the high A level, are there starts where maybe they say to you, like, hey, we're not quite as concerned about the results. We want you to just work on we want you to work on placement of your pitches, and one of them gets turned around, that's all good. Don't worry about that. Like, is that something that goes on in this first full season as a pro?
Yeah, I think so. There's really not too much dialogue about that kind of stuff, but
okay.
I'd say there's it's just kind of like I feel like I'm figuring myself out right now. This is kind of my first season starting, so I think that's kind of where I'm at, is just trying to figure out who I am and, you know, what I can really stick to, especially going into next year and later in the season. So just kind of trying to figure everything out, I guess, if that makes sense. But just trying out different things and, you know, seeing what works and what doesn't. Just trying to learn, honestly.
You reference, obviously, that first season starting. We go back to, like, you know, what you did in the SEC, both at Georgia and Ole Miss. I know originally you were kind of a primary starter, but then it was a little bit of a mix. Like, can you walk me through what that adjustment has been like to, no, this is your role now? I'm sure you were probably thinking about that during college. Like, can you walk me through what that adjustment has been like to, there's no, you know, sometimes coming out of the bullpen, sometimes starting. This is just what you are now as a pro.
Yeah, honestly, I think if anything, it's been a helpful thing for me. Just to know I get the ball, you know, every 5 or 6 days, and it's just kind of a comforting feeling. Even, you know, especially if, you know, I have a bad outing or something like that, it's coming up on you again. So there's really no time to but there's really no time to dwell on past outings. So it's been fun just to, you know, being able to flush even the good outings and the bad, just all of them, and just focus on the next one. I think that's been really fun for me, and something I've adjusted to pretty well. I think that's one of my favorite parts about this year, especially, has been that.
I know, like, I have this theory, JT. Pitching is a different animal in general, but I have this theory that, like, guys that come out of the bullpen have no choice but to be psychopaths. Like, they have to, right? Like, the job requires them. When you make a start and you go through the rhythm of the day and the day before, knowing that it's coming, I feel like there's got to be, like, maybe a little bit more tranquility involved with that. Can you confirm for me that there is far more psychopath involved when you're coming out of the bullpen than maybe there is when you are a starting pitcher?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's kind of how it's been. Like, I feel like you get the whole week to prepare as a starter, but, you know, in relief, you got to be crazy, and, you know, right when you're called, you got to get into the mindset of, you know, I'm the best out there, and, you know, nobody can touch my stuff. And I think it is a different mindset, but yeah.
So
I think
how,
both are their own.
Oh, no
thing.
question. But how do you find your chi? How do you find that piece? What is it? What is the preparation? What is the day before, the night before? Are you superstitious? Do you eat the same things on the day of a start? Like, how do you find that tranquility now as a starting pitcher to have that routine and maybe that normalcy to get the best out of that day?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just routines, just being able to fall back on your routines. And, you know, I do eat the same thing most of the days. I eat the same thing on start day. I try and drink the same stuff. I do the same workouts, you know, all of it's kind of the same. And just being able to, like, rely on that and know your training and know yourself and that your body's in a good spot to succeed, it really helps mentally.
What is the meal? What is it that you're eating every day when you start?
So I'm a chicken and rice guy before I start, and then after it's kind of whatever. But yeah, chicken and rice before.
Yeah, what would you eat afterwards? That doesn't matter. Like, if you're, you know, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter in life, but, like, it can't change the results. But if you're a superstitious person, you've got to be committed. Have you ever had it go the wrong way? Like, for whatever reason on the day of a start, you couldn't find chicken and rice, or you couldn't get any chicken and rice anywhere, and have the results reflected maybe the reason why it is that you need to stick with chicken and rice?
I wouldn't say. I think the chicken and rice is more like for my stomach.
Okay.
Like, my stomach just does better.
All right.
But
all right.
Yeah, superstitions. Yeah, I'm pretty superstitious, but, I got a couple of them. But,
Okay. Well, are you? Can you share them, or are you afraid that if you share them, that maybe that's going to be a problem?
no, it's not. So I don't like getting my hair cut unless I have a bad outing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wait, so if we see you and like the flow's going, it means that like maybe you've had 5 really good starts recently, and so there's no way in hell. Is this like a Samson situation? You're afraid that you might lose your strength?
Exactly. I think cutting off the hair makes you lose the strength, all of it. So
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, that's
I
my
love
thing.
that one. But is it immediate? Like if you have a rough outing, is it immediate? I need to be at the barber shop later today.
Yeah, especially if it's getting real nasty. I'll be at the barbershop the next morning.
That's awesome, man. When did that start?
Honestly, it was probably my freshman year, maybe senior year of high school. I don't remember, but I remember I had a couple really good outings, and then I cut my hair, and it was just down after that. So I never really stopped doing that.
You do not mess with it. You do not mess with it 100%.
That's right.
And never again until for whatever reason it doesn't work, and then you try something else. That's the way that it goes.
That's right.
The Frederick Keys are home this week. Tonight, kids run the bases and dogs run the bases as well, which is an A+ promotion. And frankly, I think we should do it before and after every game moving forward. JT, are you a dog guy?
I am a dog guy. I have a dog at home. She's with my mom right now.
Oh, man, you should have called your mom and had her come up for Dogs Run the Bases tonight. Man, that would have been perfect. Everybody, tomorrow night, the first 1,500 fans will receive a free children's admission ticket to Hershey Park. So lots of great events and promotions coming up with the Frederick Keys this week. JT, how can Orioles fans be giving you a follow on social media?
I have Instagram. I'm Quinn_JT on Instagram or something like that. So
Quinn.JT.
Right,
just found it.
Quinn.JT.
Give him a follow there.
Thank you.
Good luck to Georgia and continued success to you, brother. What an awesome start to your pro career. May that continue. Thank you for taking the time for us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thank you for having me.